Welcome back to the Dr. Hew Show. I am the Hewman, and we're going to start off with how to run an engine off a donut, or donuts, if you have multiple donuts. So just so you know, we got things going here a little bit, and you know, come on, baby. There we go. There we go. There's a trick to it. All right, you ready? I love it. And ta-da! We're running an engine off a donut. And just to prove it, here's the bag of donuts. Oh, not supposed to show the title, I don't think. It's a bag of donuts. And man, that is one serious donut. Woo! Whoop, I dropped my donuts. And just so you know, woo, look at her go now. It started out as a regular donut. See, now it's looking pretty sad. Look at the speed on that thing. So all you gotta do is hook up your, your water heater, your coffee pot, whatever you got going. Is it coming out okay on the camera? Yeah, you can see it. I'll turn it a little bit to the audience. Yeah. See the piston going up and down. All right, so I guess you know I cheated. That is a Stirling engine, so I'm telling the truth. And yeah, you can hook that up to something, I guess. I think that's a pretty thing. That's 75. I don't think we're going to blow that out. I broke my motor. Oh. Don't do this at home. Very dangerous. We'll just let that, we'll call that potpourri. I like that, potpourri. Potpourri. All right. All right, welcome to the show this week. As you know, we're a U.S. corporation. We do motor snorkels for small engines, and our whole goal today is to answer your questions that you may have about installation. And hey, how come I want my sight glass in here? There you go. Got a little sight glass going there. So if you have any questions about hooking up your system or hose sizing or other issues, we'll be glad to help you out. Our donut's doing fine. Let's see, the best we can. If for some reason we have to do some research, we'll email you back, call you back if that's what you'd like. And our CSRs will do that for you. And so we're all about live questions, but we also have some customer mail that we go to for a lot of the questions that are asked quite often. My Stirling fell apart. So, where are we at here? Our potpourri is going well. We have our candle of knowledge lit, and it's running off propane if you missed last week's show. And I think we're ready to rock and roll there, Mr. Producer. Lead me on our way.
All right, I think people can hear me now. So we do have some customer mail. We'll start off with a question here from Harold.
All right, Harold.
Harold says, I have a 6,500 watt Onan on a motorhome. I've installed a motor snorkel kit, and during the use, the tank regulator freezes up after the generator runs for about 3 minutes on propane. I'm wondering if the tank regulator is too small, causing it to freeze up.
Ah, okay. In a very large setup, that could be an issue. But in this case, I can tell you this. On any of these domestic systems, if your regulator freezes up, you are drawing liquid through the regulator. No doubt about it. If your balloon is, you cannot blow up a balloon, it's popped. if a regulator freezes up, it has liquid going through it. So, what could the situation be? Did you say you had a motorhome? Okay. If it's a motorhome, it depends how old it is. The real old tanks, they used to put a liquid valve on there, which matched it was a 3/8 flare, and that's what we'd hook to our engines when we ran them on propane. And some of those tanks, you never know, people switch tanks, do whatever, or manufacturer received tanks that had both valves, or the previous owner saw that it had a liquid plug and thought, hey, I can use that to refill my little bottles, so you never know. So first question would be, is it hooked to the liquid valve on the motor fuel tank on the motorhome? And now, people don't understand motor fuel tanks. They're underneath the body. They're the ones under the skirting. You turn a couple knobs, flip them up, and fill them right on the machine, on the vehicle. Now, beyond that, for the average person, it's typically that the tank you're using has been overfilled, and which would make it really heavy. And that's possible on certain tanks. The other concern is sometimes people don't tell us that they're using a forklift cylinder, which of course a forklift cylinder is designed for both vapor and liquid. So that's always a question. That's why we like pictures in and out. And I believe on this one, customer wouldn't send us a picture where the fuel was hooked up to the tank. So we don't know for sure on that one, because I remember bits and pieces of this issue. But if it's freezing up, it's getting liquid, plain and simple. I think that answered that whole question, didn't it? Yes.
I believe you did.
What else you got?
Okay, just a note here that someone on YouTube, Duff, has said that he bought a kit from us last week and he can't wait to put it on.
Hey, cool. No questions about putting it on? Okay.
Not yet, but
All right.
you may mention that he.
Well, we'll
could
be
come
back next Tuesday if something comes up and you want some live help with that. We're here. And hey, what if they had pictures of something available at the time that they're contacting you? Are you up to? Is that possible or no?
You know, if the customer can Skype into us or FaceTime with their phone, then we could put them on the air live. I guess at the risk of doing a live call, but yeah, we could do it.
Live is always dangerous for quality purposes and for safety and liability, as you can see with our potpourri. So we always call that the Wolfie factor. But anyway, Wolfie.
Which, by the way, if only the folks watching at home could get a sense of the smell of a burning donut.
It's a chocolate donut too.
It's not very good.
It's not bad. It's not offensive. It's a chocolate. It's a frosted mini chocolate donut. 75 calories. How long could you run that thing off 75 calories? Which, by the way, it would take. Let me show you. I did the math. Always like these things. How many of these donuts are in a gallon of propane? Huh? If you know the answer to that at 75 calories, give you a free engine meter. 75 calorie donut, how many would it take to equal the energy in a gallon of propane? That's the question. I really like to know the answer to. All right. I know the answer. I'm not going to tell you. All right. If I was a more kindly fellow, I would. But then you couldn't win a free engine meter. I'm sitting right next to it. Doesn't bother me.
All right, so we ready for another question?
I'm always ready for something.
All right, here we go. Coming up now. So the customer says, if I'm using the snorkel on a generator to power my camper that already has a 2-stage regulator, do I need to install the low pressure regulator on the generator also?
Oh, all right. As you may or may not know, our systems come with an engine regulator, specifically to deliver fuel to the engine. It requires up to a half a pound, 11, 14 inches of water column. So the short answer is no, you do not need to add another regulator. You need to tie into what you have existing, which brings up a good question. That was on a camper. Yeah. Next month is going to be camper month for us. So if you have any friends in your daily activities, they say, "Oh man, I'm getting ready to get my camper out. Do you know anything about hooking a generator to it and all that?" Hey, call into the show. We'll have our show on next month dedicated to motor homes, campers, the camping life. And we'll be talking about how to tie into the two 30-pound cylinders that are on most campers, the quick disconnect issues that people have. I was trying to think of what else. There's often questions when it comes to camping and generators. So we'll be able to help you out with that as well. So.
What about how to make brick oven pizza while on the road in your RV? Is that doable?
Brick oven? No, not doable. No. However, you can put it on the exhaust manifold if you know how to. It's not funny. I mean, you could put it on the exhaust manifold and cook a pizza. Oh yeah, you gotta know how to do it. I don't recommend it. Hey, you didn't hear that here, because the sucker catches fire, and sometimes then you have camper flambe on the highway. It's like, don't recommend doing that. Should never do that, but it can be done.
All right, Doc.
People used to cook all the time. You laugh. See, he's a generation back. I think he's part of that. Are you part of that? The generation? Are you part of?
Doc, I don't want to say anything, but I might be 2 generations back. I mean, I'm just saying.
You're a mix, huh? Uh-oh. What is it? What's the new generation? Millennial. He's a millennial. He may be a millennial. No, I think you're close.
And I made the cut.
He made the cut.
Just barely.
I'm a baby boomer, whatever that means. All right.
So we got another question here,
sir.
But I was hoping actually, Doc, you might just say if anyone is watching here who bought a kit last week.
Is anyone watching here?
And received a Dr. Hew flyer inside. How about just writing in the comments that you're watching and you saw the flyer? That would be interesting to know.
Yeah, we just started adding a flyer. He calls it a flyer. To me, a flyer has to be moving somewhere. To me, it's a stuffer. You stuff it in the box with the kit. But we realized a lot of our customers didn't know that when they opened their system and got ready to put on, they might right away go, "Oh, I wonder what I need to tie in to do this." So we started adding a stuffer in there saying, "Hey, if you have any questions, we'll be on Tuesdays, 2 o'clock, or 2:05, 6, 7, 8. We'll be on, and you can ask your questions live, and that way you can get some two-way feedback. Because it's hard to get to us, the master techs. The CSRs are awesome. They can handle like 95% of all our questions, but sometimes it gets a little intricate, but it can be a basic question. We're glad to answer it on the air because there'll be many others. So what the producer is asking is if you receive, because we just started that last week, if you receive one of the flyers and you're watching because of that, just say, "Yo, I'm one." You don't have to say yo. You may not be a yoer. So anyway, we'd appreciate that just for our own knowledge. When all those thousands of people watching, we don't know how many, it's all the fun. And maybe they copied it and put it in the paper and they're in the area, and we don't know.
All right, so we do have a live question now.
Hello.
The live question comes from YouTube. This is the YouTube user America First. America First says, "Does your kit work for natural gas?"
Absolutely. Both home natural gas and well gas. Of course, you have to step well gas down, but the system does work, and that's the whole point of tri-fuel. It can work on natural gas. That engine regulator I just showed you is for propane or natural gas, and so you can switch back and forth, as a matter of fact. So if it's your home natural gas, and we have so many customers that use it for emergencies at home, and then they use the same generator portably to go camping, and yeah, you can even do wireless start and all that kind of stuff too. So I'm surprised we don't get more questions. We used to get questions all the time. Can I run it on butane? And I won't answer that, but we've done it here. So, and it worked just beautiful. And I know we have customers, especially down in Texas. Texas is pretty popular in that down near the coastline there for butane. So we also have questions about methane. People are the byproducts of wood, and of course then we get into BTU content. But anyway, yeah, definitely natural gas. I know I get off the subject sometimes. Yes.
Okay, Doc. Well, we do have another question as well.
Okay.
So this question came in by telephone. This is from Jay Foster. Jay says, "Can I mount my regulator horizontally?"
Horizontally. Horizontally. The answer is yes and no. Yes, you can mount it horizontally. It does suffer. It can suffer from atmospheric conditions. However, the major thing is any vibrations, because you have a larger area that can move based on those vibrations, whereas if it's vertical, it can't move this way. It can only move this way. Now, if your machine's doing this, then you have other issues. But, running like this, it can affect the diaphragm. So it's recommended highly to mount it vertical. However, I've seen many people run them horizontal without an issue. But that's the answer to that. Yes, we don't recommend it, but in the real world, it seems to work. So my thing is, hey, if that's what you want to do, try mount it. That's not going to hurt anything, other than maybe performance. So if you want to try starting it out horizontal, but we will ask you if you call in or question us as to why your machine isn't working correctly, you better send in a picture of it being mounted horizontally, because that's going to be one of the things we're going to say, all right, you got to go back to the basics. We need it vertical, even if you just unhooked it and just set it upright and then try it, But there's nothing wrong with testing it horizontally. It's not going to hurt it. And it's your kit. You can do whatever you want with it. Well, not every. I could qualify that, but I don't think we have time. What you shouldn't do with it. People have done it. As a matter of fact, that one customer said he was going to take the regulator off his tank and just go direct, and that voids the warranty, because these are not meant for that. It'd be like somebody taking an air compressor and shoving it up your nose and taping your mouth shut and turning it on. You turn into a Macy's Day balloon. So, but in this case, you'll pop. I don't know if you can pop a person or not, but you can pop that thing.
Doc, we do have a guess about the number of donuts.
Huh. All right, lay it on me.
So Duff, who asks who bought the kit last week, says his guess is about 2,970 donuts. So
he did the Google thing. Sorry, you have a number that's part of the calorie equation, but no, sorry, bro, it's not that many. But that's a good guess. Keep digging. It's if you're gonna Google it, you convert BTU to K calories, not regular calories. There's the deal. K calories. But now it's too late. I mean, we already had a guess. So, and I just gave the answer away. So.
Okay, so
Sorry, I love giving engine meters away, but yeah.
We also have a question. This comes from John on Facebook. John says, how long can the hose to the propane tank be? He wants the tank on one side and the generator on the other. And he says, I guess he's asking if he can do 70 feet. Is 70 feet possible?
One side of what? His house, I guess? Probably.
He didn't specify, but we'll see if he'll comment and I'll clarify.
Unless he has a 70-foot cabin cruiser. If it's he said propane?
Actually, he didn't say. He just says tank.
Oh, tank. Okay, so it's propane. Uh, can you do that? Is that the question? Or
Yeah.
yes, you can do that. However, from your tank, you'll need to run the high. It's best to run the high pressure from the tank, the 70 feet, because then you use really small tubing, really small line, and then you can step down when you get to. I wonder if he's purchased anything yet. If not, then we can show him what to purchase. If you're going to get if you're going to do that, then you could use what we call a low to high accessory with your kit, and this allows you to take. Oh, here's a regulator. See, this is designed for 11 inches, like your appliances. And on your home, you probably have a step-down regulator from the tank to the home. So you can tie in before that or at the tank. So, like I said, this is designed for low pressure. Now, for that distance, you'd have to have a fairly large line. Well, you can get away with a really small line if you do 10 pounds right off the red regulator in the tank, if that's the case. Then you just put this little accessory on there. Now, this is meant to take 10 pounds from your red regulator and then drop it down to 11 for the engine regulator. Saves you tons of money on gas line installation and all that, because the size of the line would be quite large. Most likely, you could probably get by with 3/8 copper tubing at 10 psi to feed this 3/8 flare inlet and be just fine. So definitely don't run low pressure 70 feet unless you have to. And on natural gas, you have to typically, but so that's the secret to that. Run high pressure off the red regulator first.
So he did give some follow-up here. He says, yes, it's on a house. The tank's on one side, then a line to the generator on the other. And he says everything is new.
I hope the tank isn't new. As long as the tank's been purged correctly. Yes. So it sounds to me, you should have a red regulator in the tank, verify that. Typically a green regulator at the house. And so anywhere between those 2 points, the red regulator and the green one at the house, whatever's convenient, you can tie in there on the high pressure side, put a shut off, whatever you want, and then run your small tubing all the way to your generator, stub up, and then go into that low to high device, and you're good to go.
Okay, well, we'll watch for any follow-up there from John.
All right, John. Yeah.
And in the meantime, we did have Duff enter another guess. He says...
Wait a minute. Sorry, Duff, you're Googling it now, Duff.
He says he missed some zeros. His guess now is 297,000 donuts equals 1 gallon. That's a lot of donuts.
You're going the wrong way, Duff. I'm going to give you the answer because you're killing me, man. You're killing me. Be 333 donuts at 75 calories. Now, someone can disprove me on that. I'll give you an engine regulator, but you'll have to write it down and email it to info@uscarb.com with your address, because maybe you can show me something. But you gotta remember the calories of propane. See, it's the raising 1 gram of water, 1 degree. Well, when it comes to food calories, it's 1,000 times that. So, yeah, I remember being confused about that. It's like, it's not calorie to calorie. So, Duff, I'm really sorry, dude. But we have other contests coming up. I have one next week. If you can answer the question, you get one too. But and it's a tricky question, but it's about water. But anyway, not. So sorry, Duff.
Okay.
That's not his last name, is it? I used to know a guy named Duffy. But anyway.
The username is Duff Morrow.
Duff Morrow. Okay, so it's not last name Duffy. All right.
So no other live questions right now, but we do have another customer mail.
Oh, let's
wait.
go.
No, we did it. False alarm.
False alarm. I thought we had something about remote starting or something. Didn't you have one about that?
Well, we saved it till next week, but we could just read it if you want.
No, we can go. That'll be next week's question. I can't believe we actually prepared that far in advance.
We do 3 questions a week.
It's like Wolfie.
typically, unless-
Wolfie was not 3 days. Okay. My potpourri went out. So, what are you doing? You signing off? What are you doing?
Well, I say we could sign off, or we could. You mentioned Woofy. It's always fun to just let the audience.
We conclude. Do you have that short clip of just the 2 clip?
We do. We have it. You have to introduce it though.
All right. So, Wolfie was a tube that was a tube. Wolfie was a tube. Wolfie's dead. I called it Wolfie because it went woof, like when you ignite the vapors of anything that's been sitting around, propane, gasoline, natural gas, delayed ignition in your furnace. So anyway, we have customers complaining, or arguing, I should say, that they're not getting enough fuel for their generator, when in reality we try to convince them you're probably getting too much. And they go, no, because it's hard to comprehend. You know, it's like, I can't have too much. Well, in the tube I put 8 seconds. I have a button. I went to a little valve with a little bit of propane to shoot in the end of the tube, and I counted to 8 and hit the igniter, and everyone in the studio here ducked down, except for me, because I knew it would not ignite, and it did not. So we cleared the tube, put the cap back on, and then we gave it 2 shots, just 1, 2, and this is the result. Now let's give Wolfie 2 ticks. 1,002. So, everyone here just loves it. So Wolfie's gone. I was going to rebuild it, but yes, that'll be on my headstone right there. Like, Wolfie was here, but now he's gone. Left his parts. We are still finding parts of Wolfie around the set here. But anyway, that was just to prove that flammability. I think this donut is. Can you get high on donuts? I guess some people do. Limits of flammability. So, you know, too little mixture, air, fuel, it will not ignite. Too rich, it will not ignite. You can dig a hole around a natural gas pipe that's leaking, let the hole fill up with gas, and then go down there and weld it, and nothing will happen. But when you get near the end of the sealing up the hole, you got to start thinking about stuff. But anyway, just basic. It's just too rich to ignite. So anyway.
We do have another question. This is another question from America First.
Oh, we had that once before, yes.
He says, can a generator designed to run on gasoline be damaged by running on propane or natural gas? He's heard that the valves can be damaged.
Yeah, we used to do debunk the junk, and that was the so-called professionals, and it was mainly a valve damage. What got into the system, and I say system, I mean all the geniuses of the world. And remember my saying, I can't remember now. Oh, the world is full of experts. The trick is to find the one that knows what he's talking about. So in the 70s, with the oil crunch, propane was cheap and it was tremendously available. And so people were converting cars to propane. Well, you gotta remember, in the 70s, people were driving cars from the 50s and 60s. And 70s, of course, because it was the 70s. But just like I had a 79, well, let me go back. 69, 77. Anyway, a car made for leaded fuel, if you converted it to propane, it would burn up the valves because the valves rotated and used the lead for lubricating and sealing. So when they went to unleaded fuel, the valves no longer rotate. So that is a hangover from those days. Now, my producer, instead of looking at his cell phone, should be getting ready with the hour meter from our stock footage, our stock photos. We have a generator that's on display in our showroom proving that that's a falsehood, because this little one-cylinder engine ran for, what's that number, 6,000?
2,368.8.
That's the wrong unit. That's only a that's the one we just worked on the other day. No, that's a brand new one. Yeah, our other one is it's a silver one, remember the chrome? 6,000.
753.
The number, if you read the meter, and the meter's still on there and still alive, 6,753. And 6,750. And the rule of thumb is, my rule of thumb.
I found it.
Oh, he found it. Just constantly, and they racked up that many hours. I should have that division as to how many days that would be. But if you go by 70 miles per hour, if that was a vehicle, 70 miles per hour, and you just do quick 6 times 7 is 42, right? 420,000 miles. So you should not have a problem getting 420,000 miles out of your engine. So no, it is not an issue. The secret to alternative fuel is with our calibrator that's on top of the engine regulator, is to adjust it as lean as possible under load, because lean is cool and clean. Well, I forgot my own saying. Lean is efficient, cool, and clean. And so, unlike gasoline, lean is hot on gasoline. It's not on alternative fuels. Rich is hot on alternative fuels. So, nope, not an issue with valves. We didn't take pictures of that 3,000 hour one, did we? The valves are beautiful on that.
Yeah, I think I did.
Oh, do you?
That's fine.
Maybe we'll get those put into the stock photo. That machine he showed you that had almost 3,000, had over 3,000 or 3,000 hours. Somewhere around 3,000 hours. Valves are beautiful. The governor wore out. Yeah. Couldn't get the power out of it. And so we had to open it up internally, and the governor paddle was worn to the point where you could not get it in calibration. And so we put a new governor on it and put it back together, and we didn't do anything. We just put rings in it and slapped it back together. Had full power, put on load bank, full power, 3,000 hours. So there you go.
All right, Doc. So the reason I was looking at my cell phone is that we are having a special sale on generators right now.
Oh, okay.
So I thought you could talk about that a little bit.
He was distracted. Yeah, we're clearing out some of this year's stock, or we have some testers, some prototypes, things we dinked with for an hour or two. They may have an hour or two on them. We're giving them away at a really great price, free shipping on most of them, and so.
I was trying to see. Looks like several of them have sold already, but
they're already gone.
Yeah,
well, that was
so
quick.
I think the one of interest that's still available would be the Honda EU7000i.
Oh,
So
yes, we do have one Honda EU7000i, gasoline, brand new, has 1 hour on it. I think it has 1 hour. Yeah.
1 hour.
We just needed it to design a system that's coming out soon for that unit. So, yeah, We only have one. It's a pretty machine. Now, of course, with these units, the packaging may not be absolutely perfect, but the machines are in great shape. I mean, we wouldn't sell junk. And so, well, somebody says, hey, how do I know which units those are? How would they find out? Is it listed somewhere?
They could just email info@uscarb.com and we can forward them the remaining inventory.
Alrighty then.
But we do have, several generators. We have some of the portable briefcase style generators all the way up to the Honda 7000. So pretty much if you're in the market for a generator, it's a great time to buy.
All right. Yep. All right. Well, we don't usually do selling on the show, but you never know. All right. So are we free to move about the country?
We are.
Am I allowed to say that? And the donut was a tasty cake. So, beep. Well, I didn't say it was a beep, beep, unkin or anything like that. But anyway, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week with a demonstration of some sort. We'll try to give you some something to think about in your days when you're sitting around waiting for the show to come on. Remember, we're actively looking for dealers, so if you want to be a dealer, become a dealer. If you're going to be going to a boating show or a fishing show or hunting or something show, you could, instead of just going and looking around, you can set up a little booth, and man, it's a lot of fun. We do that with Aerostream, and man, you would not believe our table is always surrounded by people. How's that work, and what is that about? So anyway, if you're interested in that, info@uscarb.com, and love to have you. So if you have any questions off the air, of course, info@uscarb.com. You can call us 800-553-5608. I'm not going to repeat it. And boy, we look forward to seeing you next week. And no matter what you do, always, always, always be a nice human. We'll see you next week.